Hey guys, it's me again. I forgot to turn on the lights, so just give me a second. Hello. So today's lesson is going to be fairly brief. We're just going to take a look at what is a function, and then in the next lesson we'll take a look at the actual writing function notation, which is a little trickier, but today's is really quite simple. Okay? So we've talked about relations already. A relation is just something that compares one group of things to another group of things, right? So you might compare your height to your shoe size, or your IQ to the number of hours of homework you spend studying, or whatever. However, a subset, a smaller group within the group of relations, are things called functions. So if, again, you had this big group called relations, within that would be a smaller group that you could call a function. Okay? So in other words, all functions are relations, but some relations, the ones that would be outside here, would not be functions. And it's really easy to tell whether or not you have a function. If you have a graph, it's really, really easy. Okay? Because all you have to do is ask yourself, if I draw a vertical line through this graph, will it cross this more than once? Okay? So it says here, all of these are categorized as functions, okay? And you'll notice that no matter where I drop a vertical line here, it always only crosses this once. Same over here. I can drop a vertical line anywhere, and it will only cross this kind of elbow-shaped line once, okay? If I go up here, if I go down here, you'll see that that's not the case, right? This is not a function because, as you can see, when I draw a vertical line, it crosses more than once. It crosses twice, pretty much no matter where you put this, it'll cross twice. Similarly with this one, it crosses more than once, and this one, it also crosses more than once. Okay? So, if it crosses more than once a vertical line, we say nada. It's not a function. If it only crosses once, we say sí. It is a function. Okay? Some of them are a little trickier than others. Remember, over here, a vertical line is only going through these points once. But if you go over here, you see it goes through all 3 points. So that's why this one is not a function. The idea is, if you can find any place where that vertical line crosses more than once, then not a function. Okay? If you're given a table of values or a list of ordered pairs, it's a little harder to check. Okay, so we said 1 is the vertical line test. Okay, so that one works really well with graphs. The second one is, let's just call it duplicate x values. Okay? So what I mean by that is, if you take a look, and we'll just scroll up a little bit. Okay, so if you take a look at all of these, the x values never repeat, right? They're unique. You have 5, 6, and 7. Looking at a list of ordered pairs, again, the x values are all unique. -3, +1, +3, +5. There are no duplicate x values, okay? If you have a function, you will never have duplicate x values. Looking at these guys, you have a duplicate right here, right? You have a 6 and then another 6. So this is not a function because the x values are duplicated. Similarly, this is not a function. Here, we have 4 repeated. Here, we have 7 repeated. Okay? So we're not going to go through these questions because I already answered them. Okay, and we've already done this. This is maybe a little bit different just because it's a little odder to figure it out. But again, if you just ask yourself, are there duplicate x values? Now remember, your left side will generally be your independent or x value. Your right side will be your dependent or y value. And if you take a look, do any of these x's go to more than one y? In other words, are these duplicated? Do they go to more than one y value? And you can see they don't. For each x, you see it only goes to one y. Okay? Any questions about that? Now, let's say, for instance, this bicycle had an arrow going to the 2 and also had an arrow going to the 1. Then you would have this x value being duplicated, right? It would go to this y, but it would also go to this y. If this has duplication, right, 2 arrows, then you would say it's not a function. But since that's not the case, I just made it up, we can say, ka-ching, it is a function. Okay? Again, for graphs, you know, this really couldn't be simpler. Okay? All you have to do, if you're given a sketched graph, is that vertical line test. And I'm not going to do every one. Let's do the weird looking one. And you'll notice that no matter where you try, you can't get a vertical line to cross it more than once. So we will say, yes, it's a function. Continuing along. So this is a shape that you will see quite a bit in grade 11. Okay? It's called a parabola. And this, as is pretty obvious, is not a function because you can see that my vertical line crosses it twice. Okay? So we say, no. And it doesn't really matter how weird it gets. So this one is not a function. Let's just take a look at number 12, because number 12 is a little tricky. For number 12, if you remember from my last lesson, an open circle like this means the number is not included. So even though a vertical line would appear to pass through 2 points at the same time, because this one is a hollow circle, that's okay. Okay? This is not a point. Immediately to the left, yeah, these are all points, but that open circle means it's like 0. There's nothing there. Okay? So no matter where I drop, again, a vertical line, it only crosses once, right? Remember, those aren't points. So this one would be, yep, a function. This we're not going to worry about, okay? This has to do with using your graphing calculator. Okay, so there's a nice summary here. If you like, you can pause the video and you can take a look at it. But the takeaway from all this is that all functions are also relations. All relations are not necessarily, I always spell this wrong, functions. Okay? And that's what I was getting at when I said, you know, you've got this big circle which has relations, and within it you've got this little circle which is functions. Okay? So all functions belong to the bigger set of relations. Not all relations can fit into this little circle, the functions. Okay? Questions? Of course not. So, this is where we're going to start in the next lesson. It's called function notation, and it's kind of like learning a new language, right? So at the beginning, it's just gibberish. But once you kind of learn the rules for it, you'll see it's just as easy as all the other math you've been doing. Okay? So for that exciting lesson, we'll have to wait till another day.